Good morning to all of you, and thank you for coming here this morning to a bright morning. I see a little bit of sunshine out there maybe, to our European Summit. Over the course of this week, my colleagues and I have spread out across the continent. We have visited 10 different European cities, from Helsinki to Barcelona, from Frankfurt to Paris, from Athens to London, and I still include London in Europe, until they tell me something different. And the idea was a Europe Week, where we span out and meet with our member firms, we meet with policymakers, and we hold a variety of different, very intensive policy-focused events, some small, some large. This is our largest of the week, focused on the broad range of issues that are part of our suite of topics at the IF, including digital. We had a big digital event yesterday in Frankfurt. AML, sustainability, sustainable finance, green finance. We had an event yesterday in London. Sustainable finance is one of the fastest growing, hottest topics for the IF. Our Sustainable Finance Working Group is large, growing, vibrant, and my colleague Sonia Gibbs will be here later today to help guide us through that important topic. And then tomorrow here in Brussels, we will gather our chief risk officers from our member firms in the region. We do that semi-annually by each region. So a broad range of topics that we are focused on in Europe. And this, along with our Brussels office, which we opened just a year ago, that's anchored by Robert Priester. Robert, are you here? Robert, right back here. Robert, thank you very much. I think that these two things should indicate our commitment to Europe, our commitment to our member firms, our commitment to an incredibly bright future for this continent, and our commitment to being here at a pivotal time. This week is a pivotal time. I wanted to hold this session right after the EU elections so that we could begin the conversation about what Europe looks like as we seat a new government with a new parliament, new commissioners, and a new head of the council. So if anyone has any concerns about our commitment to Europe, let me dissuade you of that now. We are here, we are anchored, and we are focused on our presence here. As part of that, we have a great agenda here today. It's a full, rich agenda. It's a long agenda. We've started a little early for the typical Brussels crowd, I'm told, but we wanted to get started early. We have a number of topics we want to cover throughout the day. We have a very short lunch, unfortunately, because we're trying to jam in as many issues as we possibly can, because there's so many issues to cover. Before I get started, we're going to start with a bang this morning with one of our incredibly distinguished guests. Let me do what I always do, which is to thank our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we couldn't hold these events. Credit Suisse, one of our board members, Urs Rohner, who's the chair of Credit Suisse. Thank you to Credit Suisse. Erste Bank, Andres Streichel, CEO of Erste Bank, is on my board. I want to thank Erste Bank. IOSD, some of the smartest guys in Silicon Valley. If you don't know IOSD, I urge you to get to know them with respect to artificial intelligence and its application to the financial services industry. They're really none better. And then Visa, one of the most innovative financial services companies in the world. We'll have Charlotte Hogg here a little bit later, who's head of Visa Europe and a very insightful professional. So Credit Suisse, Erste Bank, IOSD, and Visa, thank you very much for your support for today's conference. And then let me also thank all of our member firms. Those of you in the audience today, we work for you. We are your association. You are our client. So at any point today or next week or next month or throughout the year, you have thoughts about how we can do what we do and do it better, please let me know. I like market signals. I want your response. I want your input. And if you can't find me, then just pull aside one of my colleagues and let us know how we could better serve you if somehow we've missed something. So with that, let's get started with our first guest this morning, who is Mr. Everything. I could spend the entire morning just going through his bio because he's done a little bit of everything in Brussels and throughout Europe. But he's currently the governor of the Bank of Finland, spent many years in Brussels, a number of distinguished positions here, a real thought leader on policy across a whole range of issues. And of course, I'm referring to Dr. Olli Rehn. Dr. Rehn, could you please join me on stage? Please give him a round of applause.